a very nice little analytical piece. Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Right Opinion, the home of a twat with too much free time, and today we talk about the dying trend of Jake Paul. Now I could have chatted about him while he was at the peak of his popularity, but unfortunately I had no use and no idea what I could talk about that would be unique to my channel. However, the tides have definitely turned, and as he slowly grows cold, I've decided to take a pop at one specific aspect of him, his media persona. Yes, he never seemed to shy away from the coverage it gave him, but what has really interested me is the multiple directions he has taken his manipulation in. And now that the Jake Paul saga has existed long enough for me to analyse the directions and not seem like a simple cash-in, that's what I'm going to do. The first time Jake Paul had his full-blown run-in with the mainstream media was when they went to report on his supposed neighbourhood disturbances and the undeniable commotion that he was instigating. Now, the news sources that reported painted a fairly negative picture, and appropriately so. His actions were completely reckless, and when the news crews were there, he didn't do anything to contradict that idea of him. So how did he respond? Well, let's talk about that. Now, you have to note that Jakey here has completely fickle fans who will eat up whatever he dishes out. This is important because they need to be completely committed so that even when he acts like a total jerk, they're there to dab on the haters, or as I like to call them, critics. So I expected a wholly overblown response in video form, and that is what he gave us. However, he coasted off a very sneaky narrative. We all know that trust in mainstream media is at an all-time low. That's nothing new, but Jake Paul made it something new. He worked off the flawed enemy of enemy narrative and faked a police incident to serve as example for how the media can exploit misreporting escapades. This narrative worked for his fans. They ate it up because mainstream media is bad. But even though mainstream media is undeniably terrible, a broken clock is still right twice a day. And just because, like you and I, they hate the mainstream media, doesn't mean that it vindicated any of Jake Paul's irresponsible actions. Now, I consider Jake Paul a bit of a malleable character. He evolves into every situation. The persona that he portrayed on his channel was one of extreme calculation. He knew that he could get away with such fallacious behaviour there and then. And this is important to note, because during his appearance on the H3 podcast, he acts completely different, and this vivacious big kid is replaced by a moderately remorseful gentleman who laments over his actions like most regular people would. Suddenly, because he's on H3's patch and he knows that he'll have a lot of people who are skeptical of his actions watching him, he not only sees it as a way to scrounge whatever reputation he has, but also a way to attain some new subscribers through emotional outreach. And now we talk about his third maneuver, the FaZe Banks assault claims. Now, Jake Paul knows that he wasn't positioned too strongly within the media with regards to this, so how does he create drama and still keep everyone on their toes exactly? Well, very smartly indeed. He first brings the alleged victim into his video and does the normal shtick of being solemn and serious and talking about how these things are wrong. However, he knows that he's not really a voice of legitimacy beyond his channel. So what he does is he throws Erica Castell in there. Not only because she's not him, but also because females are normally better for discussing these situations and attracting sympathy. It also helps that Erica Castell is a newer face to the media, and therefore a lot of people who are not familiar with Team 10 beyond Jake Paul won't immediately judge her like they do with our little title character here. The estrangement is essential for this message to connect, and this signifies a trend for Jake Paul. His channel messages are very shallow and vapid. They're easy to pick apart and childish, but he can do them on his channel because he's watched by a bunch of children. However, as soon as he steps outside the domain of his channel, he has to drop that facade and act like an adult, or get other people to act like adults for him if his reputation is too tainted in that area already. I have no time for Jake Paul or any of his antics. He's a cunt for money, and then acts all humble as soon as he steps outside his channel. On a side note, the most loathsome aspect of him is the fact that he always uses good deeds as scapegoats for being a cunt. If you do a few good deeds here and there, it doesn't undermine the numerous times you've acted like a juvenile man-child. But that's a different point for a different day, and probably for a different channel. Anyway, went for something a bit more YouTube related as I felt I could pull it off. I hope you enjoyed, and if you have any additional thoughts, drop them my way. Until then, I'm The Right Opinion, and I'll see you in the next one.